Hey guys, this is the Trading for Dummies series brought to you by Mastermind Trading. Introduction. In this video, we'll be discussing in theoretical form a very important part of trading, one part that I consider to be the most fundamental part of trading, and if properly understood, can be used greatly by a trader. Stay with me, guys. If you did any form of high school economics, then the term supply and demand shouldn't be one that's new to you. In this video, that's what we are going to be looking at, the core concepts of supply and demand, and how this concept, how the forces of supply and demand influences the market. So first, let's try to understand the concept of supply. Now, supply refers to basically the total amount of any goods, service, or asset that is readily available at the market at any given point in time. But the concept I would like us to get better is the idea of a supply market. So basically, a supply market is a market that is dominated by goods and services available for sale. So a supply market is a market that is dominated by sellers, not buyers. A supply market is a sell market. And the law of supply simply states that when prices are high, there's a higher likelihood for sellers to want to sell, and then when prices are down, there's a lower likelihood for sellers to want to sell. By normal illustration, you would want to tell that if you're holding a particular stock of a company shares, and then the price of that company shares begin to break all-time high, ordinarily the euphoria is you want to start to look for, oh, at what point do I start to sell these shares to cash out my gains from this market? And when the market is down, sellers will be less willing to sell, waiting for prices to go back up for them before they would want to offload their bags. On the other hand, a demand market is one that is dominated by buyers, and demand basically is the willingness of buyers to buy at a given price and at a given point in time. So demand market is buyer's market, while supply market is seller's market. And it is these forces of supply and demand that move prices in the market. Now, the law of demand states that when prices are down, buyers are willing to buy more, and when prices are up, buyers are willing to buy less. And a clear illustration is, remember the last time you were at your favorite shopping mall and there's a 50% discount or a 40% discount on your favorite shopping item. Remember, you had the urge to buy more than you ordinarily would want to buy. Now, that is the force of demand in play. When prices are down, there is usually the willingness to buy more than you ordinarily would want to. Meanwhile, when prices are up, there is usually the willingness to want to sell more than you ordinarily would want to. Now, one would want to ask, if buyers ordinarily would want to buy at lower prices and sellers ordinarily want to sell at higher prices, then at what point is there a understanding? At what point is there some form of understanding between the buyer and the seller for a deal, for a trade to actually take place? Because for any trade to actually take place at any given point in time, there needs to be some sort of an agreement between both the buyer as well as the seller to not just sell at this given point in time, but at this price as well for that trade to actually be able to take place. So the fair value is the price that both the buyer and the seller are willing to either to buy and sell at any given point in time in the market. To put it in simple terms, the market operates in an auction-based system where we have the ask, which is the seller asking a particular amount for their goods, for their asset, while there's the bid, which is the buyer bidding to buy that asset at a given point in time. Now, the fair value is the point of balance between both the buyers and the sellers, balance enough for them to actually agree on a deal, Why the levels of supply and demand are the levels of imbalance, where we have large numbers of buyers or sellers looking to push prices either up or down. So, guys, for now, I remain Monaco Daniel, the mastermind trader from the world's most populous black nation.